Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to go into the Unearthed Arcana, and we're going to take a look at Contingency. This is a great spell. I really, really like this spell. I remember drooling over it, but I didn't have a guy that was high enough to cast it for a few years after this book came out. But eventually, Magus Stormcrow, my magic user, got strong enough and he was able to cast it. I love this spell. So Contingency is an evocation spell, 6 levels, you have to be 12th to cast it. Range is 0, 1 day per level duration, so 12 days is the minimum. Area of effect is the magic user only. Verbal, somatic, and material components, 1 turn casting time, and there is no saving throw. By means of this spell, the magic user is able to place another spell upon his or her person so that the latter spell will come into effect upon occurrence of the situation dictated during the casting of the Contingency spell. The Contingency spell and the spell it brings into effect, the companion spell, are in effect cast at the same time. The 1 turn casting time indicated above is total for both spells. The spell which can be brought into effect by the prescribed Contingency must be one which affects the magic user's person, feather, fall, levitation, fly, statue, foreign, feign death, etc., and of a level no higher than 1/3 the experience of the caster, rounded down to an upper limit of the 6th level. So a 4th level companion spell would be the maximum available for 12th, 13th, and 14th level magic user. A 5th level companion spell for 15th, 16th, and 17th level experience, and a 6th level maximum at 18th level and beyond. Only 1 Contingency spell can be in effect upon the caster at any one time. If a second is used, the first one, if still active, is cancelled. The situation prescribed to bring the spell into effect must be clear, although it can be rather general. For example, a Contingency cast with airy water companion spell might prescribe that any time the magic user is plunged into or otherwise engulfed in water or similar liquid, the airy water spell will instantly come into effect. Likewise, Contingency could bring a feather fall into effect anytime the magic user falls over 2 feet. In all cases, the Contingency immediately brings the effect of the second spell, the latter being cast instantaneously when the prescribed circumstances occur. Note the complex, complicated, and/or convoluted prescribed conditions for affecting the play of the Dweomer are likely to cause the whole spell complex, the Contingency spell and the companion spell, to simply fail when called upon. So if you get really cute and say the spell will only activate if someone wearing a red hat hits me with his left hand with a silver dagger, this spell's going to get confused and it's just not going to be able to do it. The material components of the spell, in addition to those of the companion spell, 100 gold piece worth of quicksilver, an elephant ivory statuette of the magic user, an eyelash of an ogre mage, Chiron, or similar spell-using creature. Note that the ivory statue is not destroyed by the spell casting, although it might be subject to ordinary wear and tear, and it must be carried on the person of the spellcaster for the Contingency spell to perform its function when called upon. So you can't cast the spell, take the ivory statuette, put it on your nightstand. The spell won't work. It's got to be on your person when the spell is going to activate. So what good is this spell? Why do I love it so much? Well, it's a Contingency. If you get in a situation that might be a little dicey for you, this is a way out of it. If cast at a minimum, you have to be 12th level, and so your companion spell is up to 4th level. So one of the things I used right away with Contingency spell was with Stormcrow, I had a cold flame fire shield spring up whenever my life force had ebbed to 1/2 its total essence or less. In other words, half my hit points. I had to word it that way in game. The DM made me word it in game like that. And that was my Contingency. So if I was in melee for some reason and I got to half my points, then the Contingency Cold Flame would spring up, and Cold Flame Fire Shield, of course, reflects double the damage back at the target attacking you. So if he did 8 to me, he takes 16. And the reason I chose Cold Flame is if there's a fire attack, like a fireball in the area, I get extra protections and saves versus that as well. And I refer you back to the Fire Shield spell, which I did a video on a couple of years ago. But I refer you back to that or just reading the spell. A couple other uses I've seen at my table for this spell is Fly, if I fall over 10 feet. Stone Skin, if I am struck in combat. So if you're wearing a stone skin, and my table is stone skin, again, a spell I've covered in previous video, if I'm hit, you get one free hit, a ting as we call them, and then the spell is expired. It's not a full round of defense, it's only one attack. So the idea behind that was if you get hit the first time, another stone skin springs up immediately to possibly protect you from a future attack. So that's a good one I've seen used at my table. I've also seen the activation be something as simple as a command word. The command word is Alakahocus, and you yell Alakahocus and your fire shield springs up, or Alakahocus and a fly spell lands on you. A lot of different uses for the spell. The fact that it's self-only spells is not really a big deal. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. You could have an invisibility spell as part of the contingency, and when you say Alakazam, boom, now you're invisible. Yeah, and you can change it. You can have other circumstances dictate it. Now, things like, when somebody sneaks up on me invisibly, well, no, there's no way for you to perceive it. This is kind of a dumb spell, if you will. Therefore, it's not going to be able to interpret anything as far as you're being snuck up on. So that's another circumstance of the contingency that's not going to work. But there are a lot of things you can do with this spell. I've just named a few that I've seen at my table. I'm sure there are many, many more. I'd be interested in finding out how you guys have used this spell, if this is a common spell at your table or if it's very rare. I'd be interested in finding out in the comments below. Also, let me know how you trigger it, what kind of command words you use, that kind of stuff. But that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments below, as I asked before. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And that's all I've got today on page 121. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.